Hey, what's up, guys? James here. It's a little after noon. Sorry, we're a couple minutes behind on this one. We were just getting some last minute stuff cleared up. Glad to have you guys on here. I know that a lot of you will be watching this live, and then a lot of you will be watching this on the replay as well when we send this out to everybody. So regardless, today I'm doing something a little bit different. You know, a lot of times you guys hear from me, and I'll talk about different ways to grow your business. I'll talk about strategies to do things and all of that kind of stuff. But what I wanted to talk about today, with it being October and the end of the year coming up, you know, I joked around in the email or in the post that I put out, and I said there's, you know, 2 times of the year we think about taxes, and that's basically award season with our income and then tax season. And it's one of those things that we don't like to talk about, that you know, we kind of load the idea of the time it takes and the pain that it is, and all of that kind of stuff. And so I've asked Tyler from Deductr to come on here, give us some value. Today's not going to be super long, but we just want to give you a little bit of value, tell you maybe some deductions that you're missing and that kind of stuff, and then tell you, you know, at the end, kind of a real affordable way that you could really stop worrying about this, that you could automatically have these things handled and not have to spend days and nights in April trying to you know, keep your accountant from hating you. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce Tyler. Tyler, you want to say hello to everybody and just kind of tell them about what we want to talk about today?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Excited to be here. We've been a big fan of Jared's for some time. We love real estate, and we're also technophiles. And so this is a great time to talk about some great technology that can make your life easier. And certainly, as we're talking about some of these topics, specifically your taxes, not really anyone's favorite topic at any time of the year, but certainly something that we need to pay attention to for a number of reasons. And let me actually just go right into it, Jared. Let's talk about maybe some of the reasons that it's incredibly important for everyone, for all real estate professionals, to focus a bit of time, a bit of energy on the subject.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the chat, by the way. If anybody wants, you can see up on the right-hand side here, you guys can all ask questions. I'm going to play a different role this webinar, and I'm going to kind of stay over here and chat with you guys. If you have questions, I'll bring them up to Tyler if there's something that I can't handle. But feel free to chat back and forth over there if you want to do that, okay? And I'll let you know if there's something, Tyler, that I need to bring up to you that they're writing. So you don't have to follow that. I'll follow it.
Wonderful. Thanks, Jared. So there are a few stats that are important to understand as real estate professionals, as small business owners. The first is that 7 out of 9 of us are overpaying on our taxes. And you've all seen the H&R Block commercials. They talk about us overpaying by billions of dollars each year. When they first came out with the commercial, they talked about overpaying by $1 billion. They upgraded that a year later because the data shows that they were way off. And this last year and this year, they're talking about us overpaying by billions of dollars. So the majority of us are overpaying our taxes for a number of reasons, but primarily because we're not taking advantage of the deductions that we're eligible for. Really, the second thing that we need to know as small business owners is the fact that we are 3 times as likely to be audited. So we're at risk, and there's not a lot that we can do to keep ourselves from being audited. There's really no secret. There's no real true audit defense, but there are certainly a number of things that we can do to protect ourselves in the event of an audit. And so we're going to talk about some technology that should help with that. As Jared mentioned, I'm with Deductr. Deductr was a tool that we designed almost 6 years ago now to help real estate professionals maximize their tax deductions and eliminate tax time stress. We do it by helping you automatically track your expenses, your mileage, your time, and we give you single-click access to really everything that you need when tax time rolls around to make sure that you're better prepared to go meet with your tax pro, etc. Some things that we like to talk about with real estate professionals, some things that you need to keep in mind to help you ensure that, 1, you're not overpaying your taxes, and 2, that in the event of an audit, you come out on the right side of that equation. The first step is that you need to have a plan. You need to incorporate some sort of system into your everyday life that will allow you to track, to record, etc. And systems can range from the old manual, writing things down in a journal or keeping a mileage ledger with a legal pad, to some of the great technology that we've seen, some of the mobile apps, some of the web-based items, etc. Certainly some technology is better than others, but the most important thing for you to do is to choose a system. And it doesn't matter how good the system is if you're not going to use the system. So you need to pick a system that you'll actually use. Now, the second piece to this is that after you've chosen a system, something that you'll actually use, you need to be consistent with the way that you actually use that system. Okay, so again, it doesn't necessarily matter what system. Now, we've got our opinion as to what system is the best, but you need to choose a system, and then you need to be consistent. The IRS wants to see consistency with the way that you're tracking your expenses and your mileage. So when we come to mileage, this is one we want to just take a few seconds on. Your mileage is one of your greatest opportunities as a real estate professional to amass real legitimate deductions,
Right.
but it's also one of your greatest vulnerabilities. We know that when the IRS comes poking around with real estate professionals, the first thing they do, if you're a part-time individual, they'll look to reclassify you as a hobbyist, but otherwise they always go straight to mileage. Full-time, part-time, it doesn't matter. They know that the majority of real estate professionals fudge those mileage numbers somehow, whether they're estimating at the end of the year, or they're extrapolating, or they're just making it up, et cetera. They know that. In fact, we know from a poll that we did that over 80% of real estate professionals, they do fudge those numbers some way. And the IRS knows this as well. So
most people are really just waiting, and they're saying, well, if I get audited, I'll go buy a journal and I'll spend hours and hours making up numbers, because how could they ever prove it otherwise? I mean, let's be honest, isn't that what most people are doing?
Yeah, Jared, you're absolutely right. And so, and that can be an absolute headache, an absolute pain. In fact, we were at the California State Convention show last week in San Jose. And we talked to a number of agents and brokers that had gone through that. They waited until they were audited, and then they spent, 7, 10, 14 days trying to recreate that log, and it was absolutely.
And by the way, that journal better not show up in your credit card report,
That's exactly right.
Yeah, they're going, so what's this journal you just bought that looks just like this one you just handed us for your audit? Yeah.
Right. So with the mileage rate being 57.5 cents a mile now, and understanding that you're at risk in the event of an audit if you don't have the proper documentation, it's incredibly important that you use whatever system that you've chosen to consistently track your miles. You want to be able to take 100% of your mileage. Some people think, well, if I'm conservative and I just take half of the miles that I think I'm eligible for, I'm going to be okay. And that's a bit of a farce, because the fact is, if you don't have the proper documentation, regardless of how conservative you've been, you're going to get dinged. The IRS is going to take a look at you. You're going to find yourself in a problematic situation. So have a system. Use that system to be consistent in the way you track. Use that system to consistently track your mileage, so you take advantage of all of the benefit there. And so in the event of an audit, you have the proper documentation to back things up. And then the last thing I want to touch on, and then we're going to show you a couple of items here that should make all of these things a bit easier for you, is that it's important for you as real estate professionals to understand the deductions that you're eligible for. Okay. And now, there are 70,000 plus pages in the IRS tax code, and certainly none of you got into this game to be, highly proficient with the U.S. tax code or incredible bookkeepers, etc. But it's important to understand some of these great deductions that you're eligible for as small business owners, as real estate professionals, etc. Let me touch on two that we like a lot. Okay, we really like the home office deduction. A lot of times people think that claiming the home office deduction is going to be a red flag. That's going to put them on the short list for an audit or a review, et cetera. And the fact is, as long as you understand the deduction and you take it appropriately, you shouldn't be concerned about it at all. So you need to understand that a home office is a space that you use in your home exclusively and often for your business purpose. Okay, that's it. So it could be a space in your home or your apartment, but it's something that you use both often and exclusively for your business. Okay. Now, there are two ways that you can take the deduction. There's the old way, which is you can claim a portion of your rent and your utilities if you rent your home, or a portion of your utilities, your mortgage, etc. if you own your home. And it's based on the percentage of that space that you use with the home office relative to the rest of the home or the apartment. Now, that can get a bit tricky. Trying to figure out the percentage and keeping track of everything appropriately can get it a bit tricky. So the IRS actually came out with a flat rate option, which is real simple. And that is that you take the total square footage of your office, and the same definition applies to the home office, and you times it by $5 per year up to 300 square feet or $1,500. So this is a great way to take this deduction unless you have an incredibly expensive home or you have an office that's greater than 300 square feet. So just take the total square footage of the office. If I've got a 200 square foot office, times it by $5, that's $1,000. My home office deduction, real simple, $1,000 each year, no questions about it, regardless of what I paid for my utilities or my mortgage or my insurance or whatever else it might be. So that's a great one to know. That's one that if you're using a space in your home for your office, you should be taking that deduction every year. The second one we want to talk about is the child wage deduction. This is actually my favorite pet deduction. The child wage deduction allows you to pay your children between the ages of 7 and 18 a wage for doing a job for you that you would either do yourself or that you would pay someone else to do for you. Now, the wage has to be consistent with the work being performed. There's certainly a range, but as long as you're paying a fair wage, and it could be anywhere in the spectrum of fair, and they're actually performing a duty that's helpful, it's again something you do yourself or that you would pay someone else to do, you can deduct up to $11,700 per child per year. And it breaks down like this. You can deduct up to $6,200 per child per year in wages. And the nice thing is that in addition to the benefit to you, that first $6,200 is also tax exempt for your children, okay? And then an additional $5,500 per child per year in IRA contributions. But if you think about it, you put your kids to work filing, cleaning, managing your social media accounts. They're great at that, sometimes even better than we are. Passing out flyers, whatever it may be, it's a great way to teach your kids a lesson about working, the importance of a dollar, the value of a dollar, etc. But it's also a great way to amass some serious deductions. I have got 4 kids. My wife has a small business. We put them to work for us every year doing various tasks. And the fact is that we are eligible to write off just under $48,000 a year as long as we follow those guidelines.
Do you have to, real quick, because I know there's going to be some questions about that. Do you have to cut some kind of a weekly check to them, or is it just like, hey, we're writing them off as they're doing this work and they're our child, and so it's work we would have had to pay someone else, but is there documentation that has to be along with that, or what's the deal?
Yeah, great question. So you certainly need documentation, but the court stipulated precedence doesn't say that it needs to be a weekly check. They don't need to be on payroll. You can pay them by the task. You can pay them by the hour, by the job.
But there has to be a check made.
That's exactly right. So you do need to have the trail. You do need to cut the check. So we've talked about a few things. We've talked about having a system. We've talked about taking advantage of the benefits of miles and protecting yourself against the pitfalls that come along with tracking miles or inappropriately tracking. We've talked about knowing your deductions and some of these great deductions that are available to you as small business owners, as real estate professionals.
Right.
There are a few ways you can take care of making sure that you don't overpay your taxes and make sure that you are protected in the event of an audit. You can do it yourself. Okay, you can try to do it yourself. That can be tough. That can be problematic. We know that in our last poll with several thousand real estate professionals, that real estate professionals for the most part were using a shoebox as a tracking method. So not the best way. You can pay a professional.
That's being kind.
That's right. So
yeah, that's if they. Yeah, exactly. That's if they even keep that. Somebody asked here, a home office worth deducting if you have no mortgage?
So absolutely, it's always worth deducting. In that case, you'd want to use the flat deduction. You're probably going to get a little more bang for your buck there.
Yeah.
And so just the $5 per square foot up to the $1,500 a year.
All right. And then Bob asked, and I think I can actually answer this. He said, missed the part about the mileage. What's the best way to track and document for IRS? So that's kind of the point of today's webinar, is that I hate using that word. I don't know why. I'm so anti the word webinar. I don't know why. But let's just say free training or something. I think because I go back to like what webinars were when they first came out and the whole go-to webinar, you can tell that I'm doing a different format right now where we can actually use video and see each other, that I should probably just get over the whole word. But my point on that is that's kind of what we're going to talk about today is really the better way to do things.
Absolutely.
Right now what Tyler is doing is really, kind of creating the, letting us know what the problem is. This is what's happening. This is how, but then we're also going to give you guys a solution how that works to make these things a lot easier. Whereas, as you just said, a shoebox is not a place where you keep expenses and such. If you ever to get audited and everything was in a shoebox, your life just became a living hell,
Absolutely. So you're right, Jared. The second method that we talk about is hiring a professional.
Right.
That's certainly a better option.
Right.
But those individuals are only as good as the information that you're giving them. So you can have the best accountant, the best CPA in the world, but if you're giving them incomplete and or bad information, they're not going to be able to do their job. So we developed Deductr specifically for this reason. It is kind of the best of both worlds. Deductr was, again, designed to help you maximize your deductions, eliminate tax time stress. It's like having your CPA with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I mentioned the fact that Deductr is going to help you track your expenses, your mileage. I'm going to do a screen share.
I'll give you a thumbs up when I can see it. So go to a desktop or something, screen share, whatever. Let me know when you're there. Just tell me and I'll tell you, yes, we can see it, or no, we can't. This is always the fun part, guys, when you're using technology. You hope to God it works correctly. But so when you hit the screen share the thing there, it should give you a couple different options, different desktops.
There we go.
There you go. Bam. There it is.
Okay. Good. Now, this is the web-based dashboard with Deductr.
You guys also have an app as well, right?
That's right. It's both web-based and mobile, so you can use any device: laptop, desktop, iPhone, Android, your tablet, etc.
Okay.
But Deductr, again, was designed to make your life easier. We're not looking to add additional work to what you're doing. There are a few things you can do here. We'll talk about how easy it is to track expenses. There are two methods to track expenses. You can manually add an expense, which is really simple. I just go to my transactions. I add an expense. I can go through. I can type in that I paid, Delta Airlines, and I paid them $876. I have the ability to drop it in a category real quick. We've got all the standard IRS categories there for you. You can also.
And by the way, so they know a lot of this stuff is made for real estate people. So you have a lot of the standard stuff there.
That's exactly right. So we have all of the deductions that the IRS recognizes that are most common for real estate professionals. And then certainly, if you want to take it a step further and get a little more detailed, or if you have another business, et cetera, you have the ability to create custom categories.
Right, like for example, I use it, and it's, we created a lot of different custom fields because my business is different, obviously, than, a lot of the people who are listening right now. But yeah, it's still the same functionality that you want,
That's exactly right. Now, so tracking it, Jared, as you saw, real simple to do it in the manual fashion, but we don't recommend you do it manually.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's cool that you're able to do that, but I think we're going to love the fact when you start showing them how you actually connect bank accounts or business credit cards or these kinds of things so that everything kind of automatically is coming in.
There you go. So as Jared mentioned, you have the ability to link as many of your credit cards, your debit cards, your checking account, anything you use to pay for your business. We like you to link it to your Deductr account. It's safe, it's secure. We use better than bank level encryption. We utilize a token system, so your name and your information is never associated unless you're there. And we're not touching anything that's sensitive, no account numbers, no routing numbers, no bank balances, etc. But this is a great way. Once you've linked your account, you can kind of set it and forget it. You don't need to try to remember who you paid or the date of a payment, because you know the Deductr's captured 100% of the transactions associated with those accounts. So you saw.
By the way, Tyler, as you're doing that, I just want to make a quick point because I know some people are thinking this right now. It's almost comical to me how crazy people are about putting their stuff online, connecting stuff with accounts online and everything. Like, oh my God, now it's this big threat of somebody's going to steal something. And I think to myself, do you realize that credit card fraud and all the, identity fraud were things before the internet? The internet actually made things safer. But because people aren't used to that world, anytime they hear about putting something online, they automatically think of that person who had their credit card stolen.
Right.
And I'm like, people's information was stolen prior to the internet. It was just a lot easier to do it, know?
And the nice thing now about it as well, Jared, is that we know if there's been a problem. We know if there's been a break. And the
Right.
nice thing about the age of the internet is that we've got so many additional protections in terms of the way that we can protect your information, protect your confidentiality, et cetera. We employ and incorporate all of those things, and it will continue to be at the top of Deductr's list of priorities. But we've been in business now for 6 years. We have just under 500,000 users, and the fact of the matter is that we haven't had a single hack. And
Right.
We're knocking on wood, but we do everything we possible to make sure that doesn't happen. And in the event that it does happen, because of these extra measures that we've taken, your information is still going to be safe and secure. There's nothing sensitive that anyone could get to here.
Yeah,
So
that right there tells you 500,000 users. We've never had one person, whatever. It's, I just want to make sure everybody understands that, it's 2015. This is where you want to be now.
This is the way we operate. Yeah,
you need to automatically connect accounts and have everything being done automatically for you.
Yeah. So the nice thing, Jared, is I can see I've got 144 transactions that come in automatically. I can take a look at any of those, and then I can do this on my mobile phone as well. So anytime I've got a couple free minutes at the car wash, the dentist office, waiting for my son's lacrosse game to start, I'll come in, I'll take a look at my expenses. If it's a personal expense, I simply remove it. Okay. If it's a business related expense, I'm going to go in, and again, I can drop it in a quick category. I can give it a brief description, and real simple. Okay. So this is my meal, and I save it, and I can move through them that way. The nice thing is
keeping your accountant happy, or if you do your own taxes, and again, the big thing is, man, if you ever got audited or anything like that, it's all there,
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Now let's see if we can use the real miracle of technology here. Let's see if I can share my phone. Now, do you see my phone there?
Let me see here. What do you mean? Do I see your phone? I'm still looking at the screen we were at before. I was looking at, oh wait, something's coming up here. Let's see. I see you now. So you stop the screen share. Go give it a shot. Just go hit it again and hit what you're trying to show. I'll let you know what comes up. Just give us a minute, guys, while we, there we go. I see your phone.
Wonderful. Okay. So let's go to the Deductr mobile app, okay, and talk about some of the other items here, some of the things that are real simple.
And by the way, hey, before you move forward with that, someone said, what if you use your husband and not your kids because they are grown? I think I think that the deduction you talked about was specifically for children.
That's right.
Range on the children, like how old they have to be or whether they live with you or not, and it doesn't also apply to spouses, right?
It doesn't apply to spouses. Yeah, the ages right now that we know we can get away with based on court precedent is between the ages of 7 and 18.
Yep.
They have to be a dependent of yours as well. It doesn't matter if they live with you or not, but they have to be someone that you claim as dependent. So we have grandparents sometimes say, what about grandkids? And you know, if they claim them as a dependent, absolutely, you can claim those grandkids as well.
Right.
So,
and then what about someone said, is it possible to link your accounts to the software? Well, I'm going to cover that one in a second. Someone else said before that, Bob, mileage track and actual miles take the % deduction on taxes. I'm not sure what that means, but we'll show in a little bit here how you keep the mileage and all that stuff.
Yeah, let's go into it.
Mike said, is it possible to link your accounts to the software without using account numbers, routing numbers? And I think the answer is no, because you have to actually link the accounts. Is that correct?
Actually, that's a great question. We never have your account number or your routing number.
Oh, okay.
What we do, we have
right. You know what? When I connected mine, you're completely right. It was more like a login with the bank that you work, and then it goes to pull them.
There you go. That's exactly right, Jared. So we have a relationship with over 40,000 financial institutions in the United States, another 15,000 plus in Canada, ranging from small credit unions to major banks, major credit cards. What we do is we essentially launch a conversation between you and your financial institution.
Yeah.
Your financial institution asks you a few questions. It never involves us getting anything. And even then, the financial institution doesn't say what's your account number, what's your routing number. Once they verify it's you and you give your permission to link, then it's done. So we're never touching any of that sensitive information.
But it does allow you, when it now notices your accounts, it does show like the last 4 numbers of the account and like says which ones do you want to link, which ones you don't. Because for example, in my case, I had personal and business accounts and I didn't want all of them linked. This was specifically for business.
Correct.
Someone asked, can we deduct meals? And the question's yes. I mean, the answer is yes. I mean, meals that are a business write-off, absolutely, that's going to be on there. Oh, yeah. And then someone says, accountant uses QuickBooks. Can this transfer a link to them? And the answer to that is also yes. He'll show you at the end, guys. You can actually take it and just send the file right to your accountant, and you're going to have a happy accountant because it just makes everything very easy.
Yeah, great. So let's go through the mileage real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about some of the reports there at the end.
So this is the app now. This is your phone. This is the app.
This is the mobile app, and again, it's native to both iPhone and Android. So you have the ability to do everything we just showed you, tracking your expenses both manually and going in and looking at the list of the expenses that have been pulled in automatically from your mobile device.
Yep.
You can snap photos of your receipts. We'll store them in the cloud for you. This is a warehousing function. We're not scanning or reading the receipt, but the IRS does require you to keep your receipts over $75. We don't need to scan the receipt because you've linked your accounts. So we're already getting 100% of the transactions that come through those accounts. Let's talk about mileage, okay? Again, 2 ways. Jared's not interested so much in the manual function here, but you can manually come in and punch your mileage in.
Like I'm driving for work right now. Oh, this is like you missed it or something. So you're just
I forgot to hit start.
And go log it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So you forgot to hit start and stop. The second way is the automatic tracker, and that's we have you press start because we don't want to suck up your battery. We don't want to track your cab rides, your plane rides, etc.
Right.
So when you get ready for your day, whether you're driving one location or you're driving all day, simply hit start. You can let it run in the background. You can see it's calculating. If I stood up and ran around here in my house, went outside, etc., it will calculate the mileage. We're tapping into the GPS functionality in your phone to do that. It's highly accurate. The IRS has actually stipulated that this is the most accurate way to keep track of mileage. In fact, better than odometers because you don't have to take tire size, etc., into account. So go where you're going. When you finish, when you arrive at your destination and you finish your day, simply hit stop. Give us a real brief description as to why you drove the miles and submit it. Deductr is going to do the rest of the work. It's going to put it in the right report, make sure you get the proper credit based on the current mileage deduction, etc. So real simple, real easy to use right there.
And that's all in the report. Like we talked about how if your accountant uses QuickBooks or whatever, when you create that file, when you export that file for them at the end of the year, that's all going to be in there automatically.
That's exactly right. Now, the nice thing, Jared, is we have a lot of people ask, is it simple? I'm new to technology. It scares me. Look at the screen, guys. It's as simple as it comes. You want to track your miles? Hit log miles. You want to track your expense? Hit track expense. You want to snap a photo of your receipt? Hit capture receipt. This is something so easy. Any of you, regardless of how long you've been actively involved with technology, with mobile apps, you're going to be fine. You're going to be comfortable here. Let's run back over to the mobile or to the web-based app, Jared. I'm going to talk through the report section just for a couple of seconds. Let's see if we can get back in. There we go.
We have a forgiving audience. They don't mind. They'd rather, like, what I love about these types of trainings and webinars is that you know, you don't have to just jump from slide to slide to slide. Like, they can see you going from one thing, showing another. What they care more about is the actual content. You know, really.
Yeah, and this is live. This is the live tool. There's no smoke and mirrors. Everyone says never do a live demo. It's going to crash. No. Well, look, we want to show you guys exactly what we're working with here. This is Deductr. This is safe. It's secure. It's solid. When tax time rolls around, or really any time that you're looking to get some meaningful data, go to the Deductr report section. We've got really every report you need here as a small business owner to run your business, from a P&L to a tax summary, whether you're looking at what your quarterly tax payments are going to be, or you're trying to assess how much you need to set aside to ensure that you are going to cover your tax liability. We hear about first-year agents who are so excited about those commission checks and really have no concept as to how much they should be setting aside, that when tax time rolls around, they find themselves in some real deep trouble. Right. This is a tool that's going to give you the proper information to help you ensure that you stay out of trouble, that you're prepared, that you know what's going on in your business. And then probably the most popular report is going to be the tax report itself. So tax time rolls around. This has got all of the documentation, all of the information that you need in the proper format, from expenses to mileage. And as Jared said, any form or format your tax professional wants it in. He wants it in Excel and CSV. He wants it in a native QuickBooks export. We have a native QuickBooks export. I personally just print the report and take it in and hand it to my accountant. Right. You can email it to him. You can share it online with our online Meet feature as well. Again, you've got a number of different options. Time of the year, you're just basically printing it, giving it to them how they want. You're not spending days and nights and whatever trying to catch up on something that you knew was coming. You just didn't prepare for. You're absolutely right. So this is a much better way. You're going to greatly reduce the amount of time that you spend during the course of the year tracking and recording, but especially when it's time to hand something over to your accountant, to your CPA. I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time. I used to count on a week, maybe 2 weeks of my life being altered because I was looking for my
I think we might have lost Tyler for a second. Tyler, you still there, man? I know when we were doing the warm-ups in the beginning, your internet was going a little bit slow. I do want to, while we're waiting for him to come back, guys, I want to cover, there's a couple of questions that you guys have asked here.
I'm sorry, you lost me there for a moment.
No, as I say, I told everybody we lost you for a minute, but we didn't really miss too much. What you said, everybody heard. I do have a couple questions for you from people. One was, what if you use the account for something personal and not tax deductible? And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, correct me if I'm wrong, go right ahead. You know, like Absolutely. If you want to use it just to keep track of things, go for it, you know? The second question, you agree with that, correct?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
I'm sorry, man, go ahead.
No, you're right. People want to know where they are on the personal level as well. So when you designate whether it's business or personal, when you remove it, it doesn't delete it. It just drops it in a personal bucket. So you've got everything there in your personal.
Yeah, you're just not giving that to your accountant for you know, your deductions or whatever.
That's right.
Someone asked, how does this compare to QuickBooks Online?
Yeah, great question. So
I'm sure you've never heard that one before.
Never heard it. First, let me take a stab at it though. Yeah, this is a great question. QuickBooks was designed for accountants. It's a double entry accounting system. Exactly. In fact, it's overkill. It's more than what you need. So this is what I recommend. If you're currently using QuickBooks and it works for you and you like it and you're not intimidated by it and it's not causing problems.
It's so confusing.
It is. But if you're using it and it's part of your system, feel free to keep using it. Deductr works perfectly with QuickBooks. Deductr is designed to help you maximize your deductions. QuickBooks is a double entry accounting tool. They work real nice together. If you're not using QuickBooks, or you're using it and you don't like it, it's not working, it's problematic, I think you'll find the Deductr can provide the answer in terms of giving you everything you need, as you see here in your reports, from your P&L to your tax summary to the tax report, etc. And it was designed for you, a small business owner. It's going to be user-friendly and intuitive. And so this is, again, a great way. Now, let me just jump in, Jared, and I know you want to talk about this, but let me tell you my personal experience with Deductr and why we want you guys to give it a shot. When we designed Deductr, I went and manually entered in my previous year's tax information, deduction information. I grabbed my bank statements, my credit card statements, and it took me about 2.5 hours to manually enter an entire year. Now, I don't manually enter anything now. I utilize the automated expense tracker, the mileage tracker, etc. But I wanted to see, it's a bit of an experiment for me. So when I finished up, I took my Deductr report and I compared it to my report I had from PricewaterhouseCoopers. And I'd missed almost $4,000 in tax savings. And it was because I gave my accountant at Pricewaterhouse bad information, incomplete information. And this was just the expense side. This had nothing to do with mileage. And I wasn't tracking mileage back then. So I'd missed $4,000 in savings. The next year when I used Deductr, in addition to realizing all those additional tax savings because I had maximized my deductions, I actually paid my accountant $1,000 less than I usually did in tax prep because I came in prepared. He didn't have to take my shoebox of receipts and try to recreate everything for me. I came in with a detailed report, handed it to him, he almost fell off his chair. And then the thing that was most important to me, Jared, was the fact that I came in at the end of the year, I was able to look back and realize that I had saved a lot of time, a lot of energy.
That's really what it is, man. It's time. I mean, money you can lose and gain back. Time you can't.
That's exactly right. My time is so valuable. I know how busy everyone else is there and how valuable their time is as well. This is going to save you time. So we want everyone to try this. And Jared knows that we've got a special offer for that.
We have a special offer, but before we do that, I want to really quick, because people have some legit, like really good that I think everybody needs to hear. Someone said we receive an invoice every month that includes our desk fees, our advertising, our fees, outside labor, et cetera, that they pay in one check to their office. Mm-hmm. They said, how do we make a record of these expenses since they're technically different things that they're paying their office once for?
Yeah, so you have the ability to actually split things up within Deductr. So, or you could drop it under a subscription fee or an association fee like that. And you can just put your description a bit longer for the business expense. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. The nice thing is
to make note of the fact, though, the real important point is that there's record keeping. Let the IRS know in case you got audited. Here's what's happening. Here's what it was. That's what they're looking for.
That's right. Absolutely. Good.
Okay. And someone said, what if you combine business and personal miles within the same trip? I would think that'd be as simple as starting and stopping when you're doing the business and not starting when you're doing the personal driving.
That's exactly right. And if you're again to hit stop, not a big deal. You can go back and edit the miles as well after the fact.
All right. In the app store, is Deductr 2 the same app?
Yeah, it's the same app.
Deductr 2, someone said it says get but won't install. That sounds like a different issue.
You need a subscription before.
That's where I was going next, because I actually wrote that person. Hold on a minute. Hold your horses here. Guys, here's what, this is kind of a cool thing, right? We're making this really quick for you guys today. Really just, you know, that usually I give training on business and all these kind of how to create more business and how to all this kind of stuff. I just felt that this was something that was worth the time because it's about the all-encompassing version of what a business is, okay? So I'm putting up right now for you to see. If you click on that on the right-hand side, there's a thing that says Get It Now. If you go to that link, that's actually the Deductr link, DEDUCTR, not an ER, deductr.com/Jared James. If you click on that, what they've decided to do because of our relationship here is they're going to give you 60 days for $1. I want to make sure everybody understood that. They're going to give you 60 days for $1. Then what's going to happen is from that point on, and guys, I can't even I think it's too cheap right now, but I'm just being honest. From that point on, you can either go monthly and it's $9.95 a month, and tell me if I'm wrong about that, Tyler.
You're right.
You pay for the year up front, $99, literally $99. That's nothing, okay? But what we're doing is we're giving you the ability now to really take care of something in your business that's a reality. You know, guys like me love to talk about marketing and love to talk about sales and love to talk about all these other kinds of things because they're sexy, they're cool, they're, you know, but this is the reality of what is actually happening in your business. And this is the reality of headaches. Guys, we have thousands of coaching students, and like, I can't tell you, tax season is not only a headache for you guys, it's a pain in the, I'm going to say, butt for us as well, because we deal with our students and they completely forget that they're going to have to pay the IRS. They can't work on anything business related for 3 weeks because all they're trying to do is find receipts and find out something that they can, you know, put together for their accountant that's going to make some bit of sense, you know, which is really not okay. Right. So you can do one of two things. If you're watching this live, on the right-hand side of your screen, there's a thing that says get it now. Guys, $1 for the first 60 days. If you cancel in that first 60 days, you spent $1, okay? I think their transaction fee is going to be higher, you know, for that. So you're going to do that. If you're watching this on the replay, I know we're going to have a lot of people that are going to watch us on the replay because we're going to send it out to our database. We're going to post it in our group. We're going to let our students know about it and such. Obviously, you can't see what I'm talking about to the right hand of the screen because you don't have the stuff open. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to www.deductr, not with an E. This is how modern day companies stay cool. They eliminate E's and stuff. You go to Deductr, DEDUCTR, DEDUCTR.com/Jared James. You'll get your 60 days for $1. I know we weren't taking a ton of time today, guys, but we're just trying to kind of like show you something that's good for you, that's going to work for you. I think we can take, if there's any other questions, any other thing you want to talk about at this point, like any other things you think they need to know about?
Yeah, so I've seen a couple good questions come up. Someone asked if the fee covers both the web-based and the mobile application, and the answer is absolutely. In fact, the fee covers everything. You can link as many credit cards. You can track as many vehicles. If you and your spouse file a joint return, you can both use the same account. Those are some things that we get asked quite a bit. Let's see, can you track multiple businesses? Absolutely. We have the ability to create again, custom categories. And so we recommend if you're tracking.
And do your own taxes with the H&R Block CDs. Somebody just asked that.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you've got the information in both the CSV and Excel format, TurboTax, H&R Block, etc. Those groups all accept those files. We recommend working with a professional. They know some things. Deductr was never designed to replace those individuals. Deductr was designed to make sure you are better prepared and completely prepared when you go and meet with those guys.
Right. Yeah, that's perfect. I want to make something very clear too, guys. It's still to the right-hand side. You can hit Get It Now. Can you see the Get It Now on the side, Tyler? If you guys can see that, just click yes in the chat. I want to make sure it's showing up there for you guys. But I want to make something very clear because I think there's this tendency in our culture that when you do a live webinar like this and then you put up a sale at the end, you know, and it's like, oh, buy it now, like that kind of a thing. I just want to make something like abundantly clear, okay? So you're getting 60 days for $1, and then you're $9.95 a month after that, or $99 for the year. I'm going to promise you right now, I'm not getting rich on this. Tyler, I mean, you guys, this is how you make your money. But I mean, my point is, I'm doing this because I think it's going to help you. I think that it's a beneficial tool for you guys that's going to make your lives easier, make your business easier, make everything around you easier. I can promise you, like, it's not because a bunch of you sign up and now I'm going to be able to pay my bills at JJE or something like that. It's just, I think it's helpful for you guys. You know, when I was showed the tool, it solved a problem, which is something I always look for. And the other thing I really look for is I look for ease of use. Because I'm going to be honest, I see a lot of amazing tools. We get people who call my office almost daily wanting me to promote their tools. And here's this, and this thing's amazing. It'll cook dinner for you if you know, whatever, and, you know, all this stuff. And when I look at it, I just say to myself, that is amazing. Nobody's ever going to be able to figure it out. You know, I understand that there are people who, you're just, you know, just if you don't do something all the time, it's not common to you. You don't know how to do it, you know? And so paying for paying for a new jet is really cool. But if you don't know how to fly a jet, you know, all you have is a big waste of space in your yard, you know? And so this is that kind of thing where, look, it's very easy to use. There's a lot of tutorials and stuff on videos but you couldn't make it any easier. Like, I mean, it actually says, take a picture. If you can't figure out what take a picture means, I don't know how you got on this broadcast. I'm not going to lie. You know, because that took more technological skill than actually using the app or using the online version is. But they can help you if you need help. Simply being unfamiliar is not a reason not to use something, okay? The alternative, because you're going, well, I don't want to take 20 minutes and learn how to use it. The alternative is spending days and sometimes weeks trying to get your taxes together. That's not an alternative at all, right? That's being committed to the wrong things, okay? So awesome, guys. I see a bunch of you saying yes, 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 yes. Someone said, is that a calendar year membership or a tax year? I think is that a calendar year?
It's full 12 months. If you go for the annual, it goes 12 months from the time that you sign up. So regardless of when you sign up, if you sign up in February, you get a full 12 months until the following February. So
great other question. Does the fee cover both? Okay, so someone says, does the fee cover both desktop and mobile? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Someone says, does our bank charge for the connection to them like Quicken does?
No, we actually, if there are any charges, we handle those charges. We've got great things negotiated with most of the financial institutions, but it's not ever an additional charge to you. Let me mention.
I mean, come on. I mean, I said that to you guys when we met, and you guys gave me the price. I was like, are you kidding me? Like that's, someone else asked over here, how much after the 60-day trial? So it's $1 for the first 60 days. And then after those 60 days, as long as you don't decide you hate it and cancel, it's either, depending on which one you select, $9.95 a month or $99 for the year. Like literally $99 for the year, which is absurd. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm bringing it to you guys, because it's a no-brainer. Okay. Can you add any of your previous info for the year? Yeah, they would just use the manual, right?
Yeah.
Actually, wait a second. When you connect the accounts, can't you decide how long you want to go back and you want it to add into your account?
Yeah, so there are a few things. This is a great question. When you link your accounts, we actually ask your financial institution for everything from January 1 to present. Okay, now it's up to the financial institution as to how much they give us. We know we'll at least get the last 90 days of transactions. So automatically, as you link those accounts, you'll at least get the last 90 days of transactions. Some of the financial institutions that are a little more flexible, they're happy to give us everything from January 1 to present. But again, that's out of our control. It's out of your control. It's up to the financial institution. But we do know you'll at least get the last 90 days. And then, as Jared mentioned, any of the other items, you can manually go back as far as you want. I mentioned I did an entire year, the entire previous year manually. You can actually go back to previous years if you want, just so you have everything in one location. Jared, if you don't mind, I'm going to add just two things. I think Jared had some great points here about, even if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't think you understand it, we have a great support team in place. They answer the phones, they'll return emails, they answer web forms. In addition to having that great customer support team that's here to answer your questions, whether you've got a tax-related question or you're interested in how a feature or function works, we've got a great resource center. It comes with your membership. It's not an additional cost. You can come in, you can look at the video tutorials, you can see great little tax tips. Really, if you've got questions of any sort, tax-related, deductor-related, we've got that resource for you as well. So we've got both the customer support team and we have the online resource center. And the last thing is we're going to be actually conducting trainings, dedicated trainings for anyone who signs up through Jared's special offer. So we'll notify you, for those of you that are signing up now or sign up over the next day or two, we'll notify you as to the timing of those trainings. And we'll do a webinar that goes into a little more depth of the tool and how it works.
Good. Like I said, we're going to take this and we're actually send it out to our database and get a bunch of people to watch it from doing that. I want to make sure there was something else. So guys, it's still on the right-hand side. Does signing up for the annual include an additional 60 days for $1? No, so if you sign up for the annual, you don't actually pay the annual right now. You're going to literally pay $1. And if 60 days from now you stick with it, then the annual is going to get charged in 60 days. Is that correct?
Yeah, so you'll get the first 60 days for $1, and then if you chose the annual, after 60 days, you'll get charged $99, and that will give you 12 more months. So you actually, if you go the 14 months, the first 60 days, and the next 12, you basically get your first 14 months for $100. $1 for the first 60, $99 for the next 12.
All right, can it be used for more than one business?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I thought that, but I just figured I'd ask. So you're saying we'll no longer be required to save receipts and invoices. I think what we're saying is that you're going to save them, but you're going to save them electronically. Yeah.
So again, we're going to let you store them in the cloud. It's a better way than putting them in a shoebox.
Much better way.
Better organized.
I almost like to tell people, like, look around our office. You won't see one file cabinet.
Very good. Yeah.
It's 2015.
That's right. It's the way to go.
Save everything in the cloud. Like, it's just, there's no reason. That was one of the major selling points. We just hired a new girl today. But when we were interviewing people, we're like, guess what you're never going to do? You're never going to walk over to a file cabinet, look at which letter of the alphabet, and start doing, it's just not going to happen, okay? What if we haven't been tracking mileage to date? And guys, by the way, we're going longer than we said, but that's because we want to answer your questions, okay? What if they haven't been tracking mileage to date? Taking percentage of total mileage instead? What do you recommend?
That one's a tough one. First of all, I'd say talk to your tax professional. There are a few ways you can do it. You can go in, if the law actually says that if you track 3 months consistently, that you can times those 3 months by 4 to come up with your yearly. So track October, November, December, track it consistently. Use your Deductr account to make sure you have an accurate accounting and tracking for those 3 months. That's a good way to do it. Beyond that, we don't recommend you do that forever, but you can do that because you never know if July is going to be your big driving month or if it's going to be October. So we certainly want you tracking year round, but for those of you that haven't tracked, and I understand it because I never tracked, you can go.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I never did either.
3 months, yeah.
I mean, if I had an app like this, I would have. But when I was selling real estate, we didn't have apps. Like our greatest app was our phone. Like that was. All right, and then someone said, and I think I'll answer this. I think I know the answer. It says, will we be notified when the 60 days is coming to an end? And I would think the answer is no, right? Like that's not. There's no way to do. Like we have, for example, when people sign up for virtual coaching with us, we do. If someone pays for the year, then it every year it renews unless they don't want to. Yeah. Sometimes people will get upset with that and they'll go, well, how come you didn't let me know? And I'm just thinking, do you know how many of you there are? Like, that's just not feasible for us to send someone to do nothing but call people. You're signing up for annually. You're signing up for 60 days. Yeah. If you're liking it in 60 days, keep going. You don't have to do a thing. Nobody's doing anything. It's all automatic, just like we're trying to teach you to be with this app. Yeah. But if you don't within 60 days, it's really on you to let them know, hey.
And look, Jared, we're not looking to trap anyone. The fact is, if you forget and you see the $99 charge and the $9.95 show up in your account, day 62, and you call us up and you say, hey, I didn't get a chance to touch it. I didn't want it. We're going to work with you. We're not looking to have.
We have the same thing here, right? Whenever somebody calls us, I'm like, look, we're going to take, as long as it's not 8 months down the road,
right?
We're going to take care of you. I don't want you bashing me online, for something.
Correct.
Anyway, someone, I guess I'll let you deal with this separately. They said they signed up, but once you log out, they weren't able to log back in. That's got to be like a password issue or something like that. Yeah. I'll let you guys deal with that. I don't think that's something to handle on this right here. Yeah. I use it, guys. I've never had that issue. There's got to be some kind of a password problem or username password or something like that.
Right.
Someone said, thanks, Jared. No problem, guys. Like I said, today, I know what you guys usually expect from me, but that's not really what I was doing. I was trying to take a back seat and just say, hey, this is probably something you guys should be doing. I think I've still got it up over there, so hopefully you're taking advantage of that. Again, if you're watching the replay, you cannot see what I'm talking about. You know what we'll do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to say click below because we'll make a link below on the page where we post this, where we say, hey, click on that below to take advantage of the offer. We'll make it available for a certain amount of time. But it's Deductr.com without an E, Deductr.com/Jared James, 60 days free, and then super cheap after that, $9.95 a month or $99 for the year. I think that's all our questions. Is there anything you want to add, Tyler, or are we good?
No, Jared, we appreciate the time. We love it. We're excited to be working with you.
Well, you guys are going to be at the advance too.
We are. Yeah, we're going to be there.
I realize that. I just missed, I can't see the beginning. Can you see the beginning of that question we just posted?
Let's see. Does this program help you cut taxes?
I just saw something missed at the convention because I got hooked on Jared. Can you see the beginning of that?
It says, thank you, Jared and Tyler. This info I missed at the convention because I got hooked on Jared. So basically, you were so good they couldn't think about anything else, Jared.
Nice. That's good for the ego. Yeah, but you guys are going to be at the advance. I appreciate that, by the way. I can't see who wrote that. For some reason, it's cutting me off, but thank you so much. You guys are going to be at actually the advance in Vegas in, my God, I think it's like 2 weeks.
Right.
And you can do a live demo of what's happening. And again, it's probably not something, Vicky, I guess it is. Thank you, Vicky. I guess it's something that is not the typical things we talk about, but I think it needs to start being talked about. I think at the advance, I'm gonna open up a little thing on finances in general, because I just believe that in business we should always be coming from a position of strength. And I think there's just too many people who don't know where they are. They don't know what's going out. They don't know what kind of expense. They don't know anything about their business. And they're great at what they do, but they're not great business owners. Right. And when you get someone who's great at what they do and they're great running a business, that person is always going to go further.
Unstoppable.
So that's why I appreciate it. Was there one more question up there? I can't see it.
Yeah, there was a, didn't ask for password setup. Oh, this is a good question. So when you sign up, everyone, we're going to give you, you're going to get an email, a welcome email from us. It's going to give you three things. It's going to give you a link to set up your password. It's going to give you a link to download the mobile app. And then it's going to give you our customer support number. So good question. Someone was saying, I didn't get to set up my password when I signed up. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, like, I can't stress this enough. Getting a tool without actually implementing it is you know, it's pointless. That's not something you want to do. Okay. So what I recommend is not only do you sign up and use this, but you take the time to watch some of the tutorials or get on the phone with support, because I'm telling you, once you start doing it, it's so simple, but you need to know what's happening. Otherwise you'll stop using it. You've got to integrate it into your daily life, because it's going to make your business, your life a lot easier, especially around tax time. Okay. So it's got to become a part of your process. Just like you don't drive around for 3 weeks without filling up your gas tank, you know, because you know that the consequences are going to be, you're going to be stuck on the side of the road like a fool. This has to become that kind of a thing. You don't leave the house in the morning to go meet a client without showering. You know, you don't go and do things that involve your business, involve expenses, involve these things without using this app, because it's necessary, okay, for your financial health, for your business health, all of these things, okay? Does this program help you cut taxes? Doesn't it usually like give you some, if I remember correctly, gives you like tidbits of things of like, hey, make sure you're writing this off, or make sure that's happening, or
we're going to give you little tips like that. And the other nice thing is that we show you in real time, every time you track an expense or record mileage, what your tax savings are. So the nice thing is that you kind of get a bit of a reward. You get instant gratification every time you do that. And it's an easy way to make this a habit. When you see that it took 15 seconds to do this and it was worth $75 or $300 or $25, it makes it easy to incorporate it into your everyday routine. And that's what, you know, Jared mentioned, and we talked about in the beginning. It doesn't matter how good the system is if you're not using it, and then you have to be consistent in the terms of the way you use it. If you'll do those things, you'll find that there's no easier way than Deductr to track those expenses, those miles, and your life will be better for it. Beyond the financial gain, you'll be able to take more time, more of your energy, and focus it on something that matters to you, whether it's growing the business more, or spending time with your family, or doing the things that you like to do yourself.
Right.
We didn't get into this business again to become highly proficient bookkeepers or tax pros. And so let Deductr do the heavy lifting for you. You guys focus your time and energy on what it is that you do, what you enjoy doing.
There's a collateral effect too of feeling organized, you know? So
absolutely.
All right, guys, I got to run. I see somebody say got the emails already. Wow, I've got calls I've got to jump on already. We kind of flew by here. We had plenty to cover. So guys, I hope you end up using it. If you're watching this on the replay, click the button below, guys. If you're in the real estate, you need to be using this. I'm not getting rich on this. I'm just being honest. You know, this is something that I think is going to be helpful for you. So make sure you do that. Tyler, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. We'll see, obviously, and then some of the people who are on here that'll be in Vegas, we'll see you live, all right?
Be in Vegas.
All right, guys.